welcome to a very jelly Christmas, day 4. There's a little space behind me and I want to fill it. So let's get straight on to day 4's Christmas craft, a fabric Christmas tree. I was very excited to start this craft, as it meant going through my Christmas fabric collections and choosing my absolute favourite. I decided my tree was going to have 6 layers plus a star, so I picked out 7 fabrics. Now I have all my fabric, time to make the tree. I found the perfect size circle that I wanted with this large dinner plate. Folding the fabric in half, draw around the circle shape. Add some pins, then cut both layers of the fabric, so you have 2 equal sized circles. Using the next size down plate, repeat the same for the next fabric, and so on and so on. I tried to keep the size difference between each layer the same, to keep a smooth decrease between the layers. There was about an inch difference between each layer, so some circles I did have to measure rather than use a plate. I drew a quick template for the star to be roughly the same size as the last layer, and cut 2 shapes out from the last fabric. Once you're happy with the layers, time to sew. With the matching pairs of fabric right sides together, sew all the way around each layer. Leave a small gap for turning the right way round later though. Repeat with all the pairs of fabric circles, and the star, remembering to leave a small gap in all of them. Once sewn, time to turn them the right way round. But first, cut small snips along the edges of the shape. But be careful not to cut through the sewn line. This is to make them easier to turn the right way round and create the shapes we're looking for. As my star was fairly small, I used a pair of tweezers to help me turn it out, pushing out the edges and corners as best as I could. Do the same snipping around the edges of the circles and turn them out, pushing out all the edges. Now to give the tree some shape. Using some stuffing or scrap fabric or anything you can, stuff the circles and the star to give it a nice full shape. How stuffed you go is up to you. For the last or bottom layer circle, I added some stuffing, then decided to add some rice to help give the tree some weight, so it could easily stand up on its own and not be in danger of it being knocked over. Using a funnel, pour a decent amount of rice inside. And squash it around to get it evenly spread throughout the circle. Now to close up the circles. You could do an invisible stitch like a ladder stitch to close the openings, but I chose to use my machine to add a top stitch to the back of each circle. I wanted my fabric tree on the shelf, so I knew the back of the tree wouldn't be seen. But if you want to view your tree 360 degrees, an invisible stitch would be good to do. Do this for all the circles and the star. Time to put it all together. To start, I attached the star to the top layer, simply using a needle and thread. Secure the thread to the top layer with a few stitches, then stitch through the bottom of the star, securing tightly to the top layer so the star stands up on its own. To build the rest of the tree, using a needle and thread again. A thick and strong thread is best for this, so double up your thread if you need. I took a button to use as my anchor, and attached my thread to the button first by sewing through the button a few times. Then sew up through the bottom layer circle, as central as possible, through the centre of the next layer, and the next, and so on, building up this tower of circles. At the last layer, sew up through the centre, behind the back of the star. Reinsert the thread a centimetre or so back through the top layer, back through the next, and so on, until you reach the bottom layer again. Your fabric tree should be taking shape. Pull tightly but carefully on your thread to bunch the fabric circles close together. Secure the thread to the bottom layer, sewing a few stitches to hold into place. And your fabric tree is complete. I made sure all the top stitch edges were at the back of the tree and the star was standing tall, then onto the shelf it goes. I did find another use for it, as it has a heavy bottom. It could also be used as a festive doorstop. And that is day 4 complete. A really easy sewing project that shows off some of my favourite Christmas material. Not long now until some presents might appear under this tree, so make sure you're subscribed, ready for tomorrow, so you don't miss a very jelly Christmas, day 5.